Start in child's pose, so your shoulders relax back. So forward, you can do it with the knees open or together, whatever's more comfortable. Head on the floor and arms back. Cat. Hands on the floor, so in all fours position. Push against the floor, knuckle below your index finger. Push down, push away from the floor. Let your shoulders separate. So let your spine round up to the ceiling and your head come down. Come to neutral spine. Pull shoulders apart like your scapula away from each other. Inhale, round your spine. Come back to neutral. Excellent. Sit in a comfortable position. So if it's too much kneeling down, let's sit cross-legged. If you have a pillow, you can sit on your pillow. You're going to interlock your fingers, palms up, straight up to the ceiling. You don't have to stretch your shoulders up. Just bring your arms back as much as you can. Try to keep your palms flat to the ceiling. Take a few breaths here. If you can't get your elbows straight, just work here, getting them as straight, palms up to the ceiling. And arms back as much as possible. Next, eagle. You're going to bring one arm under the other, so start with arms like the cactus. Go start with the right arm under, cross your elbows. And if you can get your hands together, get them together, otherwise you can interlock your fingers. Just more or less comfortable. So from here, wasn't very professional, was it? So go shoulders up, back, down, and forward. We're just going to keep stretching the elbows forward. Probably feel it up here. Stretching elbows forward. And a few breaths. Change sides. Bring left arm under, cross the elbows. Bring your hands together. Again, if you need to interlock your fingers. But try to have them go palm to palm so there's no tension there. And then go shoulders up, back, and then forward. And then a few breaths there. Focus on the shoulders. Don't worry too much about your hands. Go. Cow face. So start with your arms like the cactus. You're going to turn right arm down. You're going to bring the right arm behind you, so your palm is up and your left arm above. So if you can, with my long arms, I can hook my fingers onto each other. Otherwise, you can take a shirt and a bra, but you can take a shirt and just hold on to that. A belt, whatever you have. So then you just hold here. So you'll hold on to that. Get your hands as close together as you can. Let this arm hang down. And the elbow that's up, lean your head just against it a little bit. So not pushing it back. Just let your head relax back onto it. A few breaths. You're going to change sides. So arms like cactus. Right arm over, left arm under. If you can interlock fingers, interlock them. Otherwise, just use a belt or whatever, a sock, whatever you have. Let the bottom arm relax. The top one, the elbow's pulling up or lifted up, not even pulling up, but it's lifted up. So it should stretch nice here, the trapezius. Or not the trapezius, your tricep. And then not pushing it back, you can lean back on it. Next is reverse prayer. So make sure your pants are pulled up. Not really. So arms You're gonna bring them back behind you. You're gonna try and get your palms together like this. If not, like this is perfect. This is wherever you can get them. Just take a few breaths here. So again, not letting the shoulders pull forward, not pulling them back, but let the weight of the arms kind of hang. If you have your hands in a reverse prayer, maybe it'll be this. Maybe it'll be this. So wherever it is. And a few breaths there. It's a great rotation for the shoulders. Down dog. Are you down dog? So with your hands about shoulder width apart, your feet about shoulder width apart. You're gonna push hips up to the ceiling. You can let your head dangle. So you can take it pretty long. Let your head dangle. The outer shoulders, you want to pull them towards the center line of your body. Index finger, the knuckle below your first finger, press that into the floor. If your heels can't touch the floor, bend your knees. And you're going to push away from the floor. And then from here, think your tailbone is going to shoot up, not turned under. So your tailbone up. So it might even almost feel like a bit of a back bend. Index finger down, outer shoulders wrapped in, head relaxed. Try to hold that for 5 counts. And then, here. From there, so you're down dog, you can walk your feet up to your hands. I got my slippers on. Put your hands under your feet. So you need to bend your knees, let your head hang down. If you make your legs straight, awesome. The weight, the pressure of the feet, your toes more to that upper part of your hand, or the base of your hand. It's a nice stretch in the wrists. Good opening the shoulders. I would do, let's see, back seated. One of my favorites is always this one. So if you bring your hand, just let your hand slide down the middle of your back. Your other hand, just place it on your elbow. I'm not pulling my hand down my back, but just this hand on top, just adding a little bit of pressure, guiding this hand further down. Change them. It's a good one to do before doing this one. Probably should have added it in a different order. The classics, this one, arm around, which seems so obvious, but I think sometimes it's one thing I always forget to do. One last thing I like. Actually, there's a few last things that I like. So I'll say puppy is one. So if you're on all fours, because Ben is there, I can't really. But if you're on all fours, come down onto your forearms. And then stretch your arms forward as much as you can and let your head come down to the floor. If your head doesn't touch, if you have like a little block or a pillar or something you can put under your head, just let the arms stretch forward. If it's too much on one shoulder, so if my right shoulder hurts, I'm going to just bend my right arm, and that'll take some of that pressure off. The left arm. If both shoulders hurt, then you could go bend both arms, just grab both elbows. It's also great for a great back bend. I'm going to guess you probably do a lot of forward bending, so it's a great back bend. And then come up, ease yourself up, and then there was another one. Well, that's a 10-minute little shoulder work exercise for you. Try that, play with it. Sorry, my hair doesn't look great. But just hold everything for a few breaths, like 4 or 5 breaths. And then you can do it over and over. Oh, I do remember my last shoulder one. It's a shoulder pigeon, we call it. So I'm gonna do it. So if you lie on your stomach, I'll show you just the one side. Your arm, I'm gonna bring it straight out. So left arm out, my right hand is under my right shoulder, and I'm gonna roll myself over. So I'll just show you what it looks like on the other side. So my arm out, this hand under, and I roll over. This one, let your head relax down if you've got a pillow. If it's more flexible, if it doesn't bother you, you can bend this leg up to hold you in place. Other thing, if your shoulders are really flexible, you can bend this arm. This is usually too much for my shoulders. Bend this arm and roll away. I would definitely start with a straight arm and then roll. And then let's see, the shoulder thread the needle. So if you bring your arm up, just really open the shoulder, you're gonna bring it through and down. You can just lay here for a couple minutes. You usually hold this one for like 2 to 4 minutes. If it's too much on your knees to sit that way, knees apart, come down and shoulder through. You can add a little twist by bringing this arm back behind you. Try and grab your thigh or your clothes or whatever. And again, I'd hold it like 2 to 4 minutes. And then you do the other side, either with hips up or sitting back. I think always a twist, so seated position, sitting on your knees, cross-legged, and just inhale, lengthen, and then on the exhale, give a good twist. And then your other side. Inhale, exhale. Good. Happy shoulders.